talk. Thank you for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonella. Just a small mention that the work on social entrepreneurship is in the past. I'm now working on digital skills. I'm very proud to represent the Director General for Education, where we have a unit on digital education. And well, thank you very much for the opportunity to be with you today in this historical place and with so many distinguished speakers and interesting presentations that will follow. I think, well, digital education and AI are no longer, things that are on the horizon that we look forward to. They are already here, and they are shaping the way we interact, the way we learn, the way we teach. So we at the European Commission see the need, the urgency for our education systems to be also keeping up with this transformation and to integrate AI in education in an ethical and inclusive manner. And this is why today I want to tell you a little bit about the policy initiatives we are working on, in particular the Digital Education Action Plan, but also the recent Union of Skills initiative, but also how we translate these policies into practice to some concrete actions. Okay. Maybe. Now, I also want to tell you why digital skills are important, although I know I'm preaching to converted people here. But we see, so at the European Commission, we acknowledged recently in the action plan on basic skills that digital skills are no longer optional, they are foundational, and they are needed for everyday life, for accessing services, for accessing information online. I couldn't have accessed my Airbnb yesterday without some digital skills. So yes, this is present in our life, but also important for our participation in economy and in society, because 90% of jobs in the EU today require at least basic knowledge of digital skills. And yeah, if I talk about data and the challenges that we see currently in the EU, well, unfortunately the picture doesn't look so great. We learned recently that 43% of our 8th graders underachieve in basic digital skills, and that unfortunately there is no visible improvement from the last time data was collected. We also know that there are not enough ICTs. It's not. You want to talk? No. Maybe I push. Maybe I see. Or maybe I hold it. Yeah, that's okay. Yes, so there are not enough ICT specialists in the EU, and among those that are there, only a fifth are women, although interestingly at a younger age, so when we collect data on 8th graders, we notice that girls actually outperform boys in computer and information literacy, so something happens later on that they don't pursue these careers. And what is causing this? We see a gender imbalance, but also teacher shortages and a lack of professional development for teachers, but also overloaded curricula and outdated curricula, outdated learning materials that include sometimes bias and gender stereotypes. And to respond to these challenges, very recently the European Commission adopted a flagship initiative, the Union of Skills, and to tell you how important this is and how high on the agenda of the Commission this is an initiative that was adopted within the first 100 days of work of the current Commission. And we are already rolling out the actions that were announced. This initiative sets a vision where everyone in Europe is empowered to develop skills throughout their life, starting from a young age, where companies are competitive and they can find people with the right skills, and where skills, wherever they are acquired, they can be transparent and recognized across borders. Now, the Union of Skills sets up 4 different strands that you can see on the slide. I would like to tell you a bit more about the first strand, which is about building skills foundations for quality lives and jobs through education and training. And here, many different actions have been announced that, where we can see that education and training is actually a central component of the Union of Skills initiative. The first 2 actions have already been delivered, the action plan on basic skills and the STEM education strategic plan. They set quite a big number of actions that will be rolled out starting with this year. For example, under the action plan on basic skills, there will be a basic skills guarantee pilot to support struggling students, and the STEM education strategic plan sets out some actions to address declining performance in STEM, but also to support more students, and in particular women, to pursue STEM careers. There will also be a 2030 roadmap on the future of digital education and skills coming up later this year. I will tell you a bit more about it, and an AI in education initiative coming up next year that will also present an AI literacy framework. Now, I also want to tell you more about our framework for action at EU level. Currently, the Digital Education Action Plan, it was already launched in 2021 in a very different setting than the one today, in the midst of the COVID pandemic. So a lot of things have changed since then, but still we also have managed to do quite a lot in the meantime. So this is the policy framework actually that presents our vision at the moment for high quality, inclusive and accessible digital education. And it has 2 priorities, one focusing on the digital education ecosystem, so the infrastructure, the connectivity, but also digital education content and pedagogies. And the second priority focusing on digital skills and competencies. We have also set up a transversal action that supports the implementation of all our activities, and also it boosts cooperation and exchange at EU level. This is the Digital Education Hub, where, for example, we have went deeper into the topic of AI, and I mention this because I know it's particularly relevant for the conference. We had 2 working groups, or squads as we know call them, working on AI, and recently one of these squads has finished a report on explainable AI. So I invite you all to join this community if you are not already a part. Well, we have, as I said, had 14 different actions. Some of them bear particular relevance to the topic of AI. For example, action number 6, the ethical guidelines on the use of AI and data in teaching for educators. They have been launched in 2022, right before the generative AI revolution. So they are at the moment being revised, and they support teachers and educators with practical examples on how to address the opportunities and also the risks of AI. Under action number 5, we also made available Erasmus Plus funding. We are currently funding 7 projects who work on integrating AI in education. And this year we have launched a call with a priority on generative AI. And the interest has been really impressive and even a bit overwhelming because we receive more than 250 applications. Now, maybe I look also at the time. Yes, I would like to also tell you about the fact that we are at the moment undertaking a review of this Digital Education Action Plan. We started the review last year with a kick-off event and have had many different stakeholder consultations since then. We consulted with specific groups like the private sector, teachers and educators, civil society. We also held thematic consultations on gender and on disinformation. We also received about 70 position papers from stakeholders. And what we've gathered so far from all of this is that the action plan has been successful. It increased cooperation at EU level on some particular topics where we have worked a lot on producing guidelines or frameworks. And they have also helped to raise awareness about the role of digital education. And also they came with some funding because that's why it's always important to have policy initiatives, because then the topic is high on the agenda and funding is also allocated to the topic. But of course we also noticed some challenges that persist. As I said, the attainment of digital skills is we are still not there. There is more to do on disinformation, on access and inclusion, and also on improving teachers' competencies. And we've also found some emerging topics, and perhaps, you see them on the screen. I would like to tell you just a bit more in the time left about the topic of AI in education, because that was also already a part of the action plan, but an actual revolution has happened since 2020. So we see from the data that is being collected through different surveys that students are using AI a lot. However, they report that they feel their schools are not adequately prepared for AI usage. So I heard earlier that here the University of Bologna has the generative AI policy in place, but this is not the case of many schools and higher education institutions. Students also feel that their teachers are not adequately prepared to address the challenges. And also there's an interesting issue of perceptions, because people feel that they are ready and empowered to use AI, but in reality 50%, only 54% of them have at least a basic level of digital skills. So it shows that people are more confident than they should perhaps be sometimes. So I mentioned on AI we do see a lot of opportunities. There's the opportunity to have more personalized education, responding to the needs of students, to even address with more targeted learning students with special educational needs. Teachers can also boost their work because AI supports them with, let's say, repetitive and easily automated tasks. But there are also challenges related to data privacy, plagiarism, intellectual property. So in all this, we feel that teachers should be better supported to make an effective use of AI, to know how to use it, when to use it, and why to use it, and the same is valid for the general population at all ages. And to tell you a few things about what is in the pipeline at the moment, and this is my last slide. We are, as I said, revising the guidelines on the use of AI, and this is actually one of the most successful publications that has so far been downloaded 35,000 times. So we really see that it's appreciated and needed. An AI literacy framework will be developed in cooperation with the OECD. A draft was launched earlier in the previous month. We are also undertaking a mapping of AI initiative and a study on the implication of recent digital legislation. So I will stop here, but because my time is up, I would just like to invite you all to join us in 8 days from now at the Digital Education Stakeholder Forum. So please register, have a look at the agenda. It will be streamed live. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is very, very